Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Little Fawn. Happy December. I can't believe it's already here. The back end of this year has just like whooshed like a big old roller coaster. And you know, I don't say that as a bad thing, but a fast thing for sure. So I thought I would kick it old school and do an intuitive card read for the overall energetics of the month. We are using the now kind of famous, not infamous because they're cool, the Granny deck. This is my partner's grandmom's deck that I came to be fortunate enough to have. It was passed down to us, and everybody loves them. It's got her little handwriting on it, and yeah, it's an old school writer Waite Smith deck. I think from like the 60s, maybe? I can't be sure. And we joke that they literally seem to be getting newer each time they get used because they love being used. And they love being used for the collective and for other people. Sometimes when I use them for myself for just basic day-to-day readings, she will 100% throw down nonsense cards and remind me that that's not what this deck is for. So actually I'm going to start with the Enchanted Map. So let's get a feel, and I'm just gonna tap. I'm gonna tap directly into my team, my guides, and get kind of some themes. I have a sense already, but let's see how the cards depict and reflect. I was guided to do it this way because with everything moving so fast, a lot of the downloads that I get from them, and I post on my Substack, or do like in-depth kind of discussion and reading of here, it can be dense. I mean, it not that it can be, it is dense. So they wanted it to be distilled down a little more layman's terms, a little easier to digest and practically apply, and even just to see the visual of the cards. There are many different ways to use your intuition. Cards are a great way to kickstart it. You can use guidebooks, you can use you know, the internet to help you, but I find that if you have decks that have really good pictures that show actions, you can create a narrative just by looking at what's happening and putting yourself in that picture and then following the narrative. Sometimes when I teach tarot, I'll have in my workshops, I'll have them read each other, and it's amazing how much clearer that is because they don't know. They're not trying to equate it to something in their lives that's personal to them. They can just read what's there. And also, even though it seems kind of daunting when you're new at reading, I'll have them do like longer spreads. Because when you start looking at it as a whole paragraph instead of just like a sentence or a word, you start to get a feel for the flow of your own intuition and how you can start to just follow it inside for some wisdom. So we're just going to pull a few of these. I'm using the Enchanted Map. It's a Colette Baron, one of Colette Baron Reed's like earliest decks, and it's a really good one. It's a truth teller. So you know, among card readers, there's a joke that you get the reading that you need. It's not the one that you want all the time. Sometimes it is, but these cards are truth tellers. And my little sprained thumb is finally almost completely healed, but shuffling the big cards is a little bit of a challenge still. So we're just gonna get in here and get like a week by week overview of what we're looking at. So we have week 1, 2, 3, and week 4. Okay, interesting. So we start off, and I'm going to try and maybe drop them there so you can see them. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. I'll put a full spread picture at the end. And then next year on my list is getting like a second camera so I can do the whomp. Anyway, week 1, encouragement. The cute little giraffes, aw. And the number is 54, which is funny. So the sidebar, I pull every month from my, it was the first deck I ever got myself before I even knew why I was getting it. It's called the Enchanted Tarot, and I remember choosing it because it just felt light. Tarot was still a little scary for me because of how I grew up. And it has all my writings and markings in it because I was trying to like when I was little too, and my brother gave me a, it was like an air organ from like back in the day. You plug it in and you just hear the air and it pushes it, and then you push down on the keys and it makes this like sound. And I wrote on there in black nail polish what the notes were so I could teach myself how to play it. So yeah, I did the same thing with my tarot cards, is what I'm saying. But I meant to bring it in, but maybe I'll post a picture of it at the end. The card that came up, I pull from the major arcana as an archetype of what am I leaning into, alchemizing, learning to embody, play with, like, what's that overarching energy of the month. And I usually don't read them reversed. I just pick one. It's the archetypal energy. But today I picked the Hermit, but it was upside down, and I actually laughed because we're coming to the end of a Hermit year. And so it's been very much a year of review, going within, finding the inner wisdom, distilling it, widening the light, softening the lens, so that we can let go of what isn't going to be supporting our quantum leap in the new year. But when the Hermit is upside down, rather than like going in and being quiet and, meditating and all of that, it's like, it's time to take all of that and step out into the light that you cultivated, and share your wisdom. So I found it made me giggle a little bit because, we're coming to the end of the Hermit year, and the Hermit is going to pass that lantern on to the Magician in 2026 so that he can better see what he's alchemizing, what he's conjuring. So this encouragement card, it's 54, which is a 9. The Magician is a 9. So we're starting off this month reminding us that we are coming to the end of a cycle of completion. And the giraffes as a totem, it's like lifting up, stretching a little higher to see an expanded horizon, picking our heads up out of kind of the minutia, like the tiny little day-to-day, and really use all of that going inward that you did in the Hermit year, and taking that to expand your view. Oh, hold on, there's a big scary noise out there. I have a kitten in the window. He hasn't decided if he's curious or if he's gonna run. So yeah, the giraffe can see a little taller. It's that expanded throat chakra. They're also very vulnerable when they drink. So there's an element of, like, with all of that height, it's going to be a little more difficult to, like, dip back down into the previous lower frequencies. You'll find that you probably this week you won't get away with things that maybe were fine in previous years, or like, oh, but I always whatever. Let's say, like, for example, I don't drink anymore. It's just I've kind of phased myself out of it. So if I'm gonna have a glass of wine, that's probably okay, but like if I have a gin fancy something, then I'm like, whoo, because I'm not used to it. And alcohol, while fun, is a little bit of a lower frequency. So those dips, they're not always like, it's not like a bad thing, but you'll find that you're less good at trying to fit back into old molds or just do things the way that you've done them because you've always done them. But it's the card of encouragement as well. So there's a little nudge here from the universe that says, like, just keep going. You're almost there. This is kind of, I've been viewing it as kind of like the prologue. This is this is the introduction to the new book, that is our new life, our new reality moving forward. So there's encouragement to keep going and to trust in that expanded horizon. Moving into the second week, we have Spark, but it's reversed. These cards are really pretty. The artist that she uses, although actually it looks a little like this in the spread. And it's funny because the card that came up today, for the collective reading was that Ace of Wands upside down. And I feel like this has that kind of similar energy. Watch for burnout as we move closer and closer to the actual holidays. Don't let anything dull, don't let like tradition. Tradition is good, it has its place, but don't let like the weightiness and the heaviness of it kind of dampen this effervescence that's trying to bubble up and release into something new. And also like these ideas, these sparks, they need grounding. So you have to claim them. If you feel like you're stuck in that week or a little bit kind of lackluster and dull, go back in and ask yourself why. Why am I doing whatever it is that I'm doing? And if you don't know, then maybe why? like why are you doing this if you don't even know why you're doing it? When you clear some of that debris out of the way, you find that the spark is able to return, because it's like having a wick that's like coated in wax. It's not going to light as easy, but if it's a clean wick, it lights right up. So that's kind of the vibe of the second week. And then we have the third week, coming to life. I guess so, after that spark was lit. And we have 29, which is 11, which is a master number. And that's what we're doing inside of this back end of 2025, is gathering all of the mastery. We're leaning in to everything that was in a way that says thank you, and using it as a launch pad to carry us forward on those wings of all of the lessons, all of the loves, even the heartaches and the heartbreaks, all of that alchemized into that mastery is what fuels the new beginning. And so coming to life, that third week, it's it's exciting. This is a month of manifestation. So if you can keep that spark lit, then you are really going to be able to start seeing signs of the new frequency that 2026 is ushering in those little sparks. But instead of it being like, you know how sometimes when you're in a rut and it's kind of like, yay, this cool thing happened. Crickets, crickets, crickets. Oh, here's another thing, yay. Crickets. Like, these sparks are going to start coming faster and faster inside of this energy. So the more you acknowledge them, and the more you have gratitude for them, and the more you kind of like smile inwardly, like, like it's okay to start trusting these new things. And it's likely that, it's going to look different for everyone. And not everyone is going to understand everyone else's, and that's fine. We're all meant to just kind of find it so that we can all start to hum at these higher frequencies that are rooted in that just delight at our own life, our own being, our own breath, our own creation. And that is going to become, it's infectious. Like when little kids laugh, you don't need to know what they're laughing at. They don't even know what they're laughing at. They're all feelings. It's something tickles them and they laugh. So yeah, keep it light. And then the final card, we have this movement, but little ostrich is upside down. But it carries with it that 28, which is the 1. So we are moving into the 1 frequency in January. We are shifting energy, but we still have retrograde motion with a couple of planets, the big slow ones. And we also have planets that are stationing, just stationed, about to station direct. And because these are big planets, like Mercury retrogrades all the time. It's a tiny little planet. It's closer to the sun. The revolutions are shorter. So when it stations direct, I think it's only like a week or so, and it's humming along again. But these bigger planets, they take a minute. And a lot of stuff, even though we move into January and we're like, okay, new year, new me, the new year, new me doesn't really hit its first stride until February, kind of with the Chinese New Year or the Lunar New Year, when a lot of stuff actually starts moving energetically. And then by April, it's going to be like, ready or not, we're full steam ahead. So use this time where maybe it's not moving as quite as fast as you want it to be to line everything up and anchor that spark, to really ground it in. Also, that last week of December, I always call it the week outside of time. It's like it doesn't exist. It's outside of time and space. Christmas happens, and then New Year's happens, and no one really knows what's in between. I just know that you don't have to really put on real pants if you don't want to. It's kind of a schlub week, but it's a good week to cultivate the spark for sure. That week in between where you can start to bring to life some things, even if it's, cleaning, literally cleaning the house or clearing stuff out, meditating, writing, being social. Being social is a great way to ignite sparks, being around other people and bouncing ideas off of them. So yeah, so let's get Granny. These cards are nice and easy to shuffle because they have been shuffled many, many, many times. Let's get a little bit of like how can we make sure that we're in alignment inside of each of these energies. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards to coincide with each kind of week and each theme they'll either be obstacles to look out for, or be mindful of. They're opportunities. Every obstacle, every challenge right now is an opportunity for alchemization. So they'll either be opportunities for alchemization or manifestation. And December is very much manifestation. Right. All right. Oh, looks like that second week is going to be a little interesting. I think that's good. Okay. So what we have, and again, I will try to lock them up here, but under this card of encouragement, we have the Five of Wands and the Knight of Cups. So what does that say? It says a lot might be coming at you. There might be conflict, there might be competition, but that Five of Wands, like fives are change, so it's likely that it's due to a little bit of growing pains. That Five of Wands isn't like big, massive, heavy, like chain. It's not like the Tower. But it's that kind of like prickly. It can be a little prickly, or it can be like you have to kind of pick your battles. Know when you want to really stand up for something and fight for something, and when it's better to just kind of like take a step back and allow the energy to flow in the way that it wants to flow, and what is that flow and how can you support it in alignment with like what the feeling is that you want on the other side of it. Sometimes the thing that we think we want isn't the thing that will actually give us the feeling that's behind the thing that we want. If that makes sense. So the encouragement is to just kind of like stay in your truth, stay in curiosity, stay in the expanded view, and then those little, you won't be taking part in the insistence resistance game, and that'll allow for a smoother flow. And that Knight of Cups, he's just like, there's movement. There is movement here, but it's like, again, keep it heart-centered and like kind of romance yourself. Not everything has to be a task. Not everything has to be a thing to check off. Like you get to stop and smell the roses. You get to like do things just for like the fancy of it. You know what I mean? And see where it goes. There's no rush this month for sure. For the next couple months, there's not going to be much of rushing. So it's not about getting it done fast and who's the best and all of that. It's like, what do you actually want to do? Look at that expanded view. And then moving into Spark, this is the second week of December, just like, you know, really take that time to be gentle. We have that 10 of Pentacles upside down, and we have Justice upside down. So with that spark, that's a little fried, that's a little burnout. And all of those cards being upside down, I'm gonna take it, for some it might mean that there's something going on with, you know, your business, your home, like whatever. There could be something that seems a little unbalanced and unfair, but, or imbalanced and unfair, but I'm gonna read it as an inside job, because we have the Hermit as that kind of pervading theme. So there's nothing that's unfair or fair. It's just what is. And then you have to accept truth as the truth that is presenting to you at that time, and then make your choice about where do you live or not live inside of that truth, right? Like you don't have to align with something that you don't feel is a truth for you. So your spark gets dulled when you're weighed down by the heaviness. Sometimes like this 10 of Pentacles upright is like, hey, it's fulfillment, it's everything you've ever wanted. And then upside down, it can be, hey, just kidding. But here I feel like it's a bit of an overwhelm. Like all of that feels heavy. If you own your own business or work and home and family, like all of it. And again, this is prelude into holidays, so that can feel like it's a lot. And this Justice card, it's almost like it's saying, you know, it's not fair that I have to put everything on pause just for like this. And maybe you love Christmas, and maybe this is your jam, and you're like, yes, I love all of it, the decorating, every Christmas thing I'm gonna do, like a Hallmark movie. That's magical and amazing. But for most of the world, it's like both fun and something to be gotten through. And if it's leaning heavy into the latter, then you're missing the point of the feeling that the solstice in this time of year actually offers, when you get lost in that kind of consumerism and, you know, go, 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 and more, and bye, like all of that. Like I watched this movie on Netflix with Alicia Silverstone. I think it was called like Merry Xmas. It was Netflix's version of a Hallmark holiday movie. And they would make fun of her because she was the mom who handmade gifts, and she was the house that was all eco-friendly. And of course there was a snowstorm, and whose house did they all want to go to? Hers, because she had power. But it was that feeling of putting your whole heart, soul, intention, and attention into something that you want to share with somebody else. That's where the gift is. It's not about how much, how many, how expensive. Like that's not really what it's about. It's what are you actually offering from your heart? And to slow, again, that's why slow everything down. So if next week starts to feel a little heavy, as you feel like stuff is creeping up on you, just know that it's gonna break a little bit. So instead of seeing things as fair, not fair, heavy, overwhelming, just step back, clear the wax off that wick, relight your spark, and take a look at what's in front of you. And again, why? That's going to be your most helpful question this month. Why am I doing this? And if it's because it brings you joy, then do it. If it used to bring you joy and doesn't now, why? What's in the way of this joy? If I had a year, I used to be really busy during the holidays singing and performing, and it was super fun, but it was definitely a lot. And then we used to host Christmas Day, and there was one year where I was just like done, but I didn't even have the words for it. But I was really feeling this this upside down. And my partner turned and looked at me and said, what if we just didn't host? And I was like, oh, look, there it all went. It's all gone now. So like, whatever's the thing that gives you that feeling, give it to yourself. It'll make the flow a lot easier, and it'll just make your month and your holiday a lot more enjoyable. And if people on the other side of your choice are a little prickly about it because of their own thing, they usually get over it quickly. And if they don't, maybe revisit that relationship as a whole. But usually it's like we all get so comfortable with what's comfortable. The routine, that when it shifts, it can be like, whoa, it's wobbly for everybody. So just have compassion and knowing that where you kind of pull out that Jenga cube, everybody has to resettle so the whole thing doesn't collapse. And it's not your intention to collapse the whole thing. You just want to be a sturdier piece of that. Maybe Jenga's not the best analogy, but I think you get what I'm saying. All right, and moving into that third week, we're coming to life because we made sure that our spark was lit. These two cards together are also very interesting because, again, that Seven of Swords upside down and then the Eight of Pentacles right side up. So the Eight of Pentacles says, whatever it is that you want to bring to life, you're going to have to put the work in. It's not like the universe is going to magically drop something on your doorstep and provide for you if you're not taking the steps to meet it halfway. Not even halfway, you just take the steps. Have the discipline, have the focus, have the intention, and then back it up with practical implementation. It's one thing to have awareness, but until you add the embodiment piece, you keep yourself in a hamster wheel of unfulfillment, because manifestation takes both. You have to have the awareness of, and then you have to embody. Until you put it into practice, you're just kind of spinning. So put in the work, and it's gonna bring in the rewards. 100% it's gonna bring in the rewards. You just have to choose it. And in doing so, that Seven of Swords is twofold inside of this energy. In the beginning, whenever you're starting something new, particularly like a new business with this, which this might be for some of you, you have to be resourceful, right? You don't have everything up front. You don't have maybe the space or the whatevers that you need. So you have to be resourceful. Use what you have so that you set that intention, like, yep, I'm doing it anyway. And then that's what starts to open the doors for what you need to start flowing through. That Seven of Swords also says, like, only take what's yours. Like, again, you need to we as a collective need to hold into our integrity. That's part of really honing in on that why. Hold into the integrity, because anything that's not backed and rooted in that integrity is effectively a house of cards. It's gonna crumble. And come like next year, you're gonna want that house like the third little pig. You're gonna want it made of brick. You don't want anything to have the capacity to huff and puff it down just because you took a shortcut or figured, what could it hurt? I'll just do it this way, everybody else does. No, hold your truth, put in the work. It won't take long for that to come back magnified. And then finally, underneath that movement, or kind of like lack of, we have the Two of Pentacles and we have the Moon. And so part of this slowdown is for you to get grounded, get balanced. We're in a period of change. So the good news is that some of these bigger planets that are moving forward are going to offer a lot in the way of like, here we go, and opening and expanding. But also once they get going, you got to be ready to go. And so what better way to learn how to balance maybe a new routine, new habits, new diet. I know diet's a big thing coming into the new year, but just like whatever you want to do to be healthy, your health is directly linked to your wealth. health it's your life force energy. So you want to keep that humming so that everything else can be vibrating at its highest available harmonic as it connects directly to source energy, so that can flow through you and you can create from and as that energy. So use the slower pace to find balance inside of cultivating these new routines that support what you're stepping into. And that's going to take a little doing, especially in the winter months. They're not known for like, hey, let's do a new thing. Like, it's gonna be sluggy. It's gonna be, you're gonna have to commit. You're gonna have to just do it. Wake up every day at whatever o'clock that supports what it is that you want to create and who you want to be, and allow yourself to go to sleep at a time that supports those things as well. And then fill your day with things that aren't just like single-minded focus only on what you're trying to manifest, but you're bringing in the balance of, you know, I want to exercise, I want to have a nice dinner with my family, I want to, you know, go out with my friends, I want to meditate. Like, these things are all important. These things are all fuel that keep the spark lit, that keeps the wick clean, so that flame can be an eternal flame. And then the moon is saying, like, there's stuff we don't know yet. So if we rush underneath that lack of movement, if we're bullheaded and we're going all in and we're taking shortcuts, we're going to get kicked back. We're going to get kicked back. We're going to have to wipe stuff clean or start all over or whatever. And if you just stay the course and trust in the flow, what is more will be revealed, and then it will be a much clearer pathway when you can see the whole pathway. Yeah, very interesting month. I'm gonna pull one more card. We're gonna do an animal card. This was actually my very, very first card deck. You can tell the box is taped up and old. The medicine cards. Animals were my very first guides, and still are my strongest guides. So what is the totem that supports us in alignment of our life force energy at its most vital and whole and healthy and magnificence? Yeah, I'm gonna say it. What supports this transition? What supports us kind of stepping away from what was, who we were, and into who we are becoming? Because again, I have all sorts of good I just feel excited about the next coming years. Like when a little kid is like, I'm gonna go to Disneyland, but it's not like they're dreaming anymore. It's like they have a date, they're gonna leave the day after Christmas. And they know it's coming and they can count the sleeps. That's kind of the level of excitement that I have. So it's gonna get good. I mean, it's already good. It's what you make of it. So just choose to make it good so that you can really tap into that higher vibrational timeline, because it's gonna be fun. And it's okay if you slip. It's okay if you tumble into like old narratives. Just that hermit, we had a whole year of it. Use him as the guiding light on your shoulder that says, hey, remember how we like learned how not to take yourself down that rabbit hole? Shine the light, take a look, give whatever needs a hug, and then let it go. And know that, you know, we are all creators. We could do whatever we want. Okay, so who is the animal? Who's our bud that supports us? Best supports us. Let's see. The raven. So lean into the mystery. Lean in, and again, just to echo it, I'm gonna put them both there. We have the Black Panther on the bottom, and we're gonna 100% use that as well. The raven is mystical, magical, leaning into, I mean, it flies right along with that moon there, the unknown. Don't be afraid of it. Lean in. We're all headed somewhere we've never been before, so there's no data. You know what I mean? And the brain likes data. I like to know. It's why, like, during the pandemic, people rewatched shows, because we didn't have the bandwidth to even watch something where we didn't know what was going to happen because life was nutso around us, you know? So lean into the unknown this time, though, because that's actually the cool place, the safer place. It's just that we don't know it because we're actively co-creating it now with every breath, every thought, every word, every action. But the raven is here to help us carry it. It's also, he's also good for like remote healing, so you can send your feeling, the feeling that you want to feel on the other side of this transition. You can send it on the wings of the raven to be carried through the gateway and widen that threshold for you so that you can step through with a little more ease. And then the Black Panther is, it's just, that is the unknown. That is the great mystery. And that is releasing fear, understanding that fear and love, they don't exist in the same place. So just choose love. And then the mystery, like, the mystery will reveal itself as the fear melts away. And that's when, like, our eyes open, our arms open, and we get to see little signs of life, little sprouts, little flickers, little fireflies. But the panther goes where no one has gone before. She is one of my biggest and first totems ever. It's a cool ally to have, especially in the winter month. So I hope you all found this helpful. It was certainly fun to do and to share with you all. Like I said, I'll take a picture of the spread and I'll try to put some of the cards along here. But yeah, have a beautiful month. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and just, you know, if you need to take a step back in order to better launch or to get a better view of where you're headed, that's okay. That's okay this month, and moving into January. But don't be afraid to lean into the unknown. Trust in the spark within. It will guide you. You've been cultivating that to a full flame this whole year. So yeah, happy, all of the things. Whatever you celebrate, may it be beautiful, bountiful, and full of light.